Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln wheat penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly special to explore. The United States of America 1-cent coin from 1957. This coin, often overlooked by casual collectors, has a unique history and a design that tells a powerful story. What might surprise you even more is its current value. Stick with us until the end, and we'll reveal just how much this seemingly humble penny could be worth in today's market. Let's start by understanding the context behind the 1957 1-cent coin. The year 1957 was a time of great transition in the United States. The country had just emerged from World War II and was experiencing a period of economic growth and stability. The 1950s marked the beginning of the post-war boom, and the American economy was thriving. In 1957, the United States was also seeing some significant changes politically, socially, and culturally. It was a decade of innovation, with new technologies emerging and the American middle class continuing to grow. The 1-cent coin from this era reflects a time of optimism and prosperity, serving as a reminder of the nation's strength during a pivotal time in history. The design of the 1957 1-cent coin is iconic and has remained largely unchanged since its inception. On the obverse side, you'll see the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln has been the face of the penny since 1909, and his presence on this coin symbolizes the enduring legacy of his leadership and contributions to the nation. The image of Lincoln is beautifully rendered, with great attention to detail, capturing his dignified and thoughtful expression. The inscription around his profile reads, "In God We Trust," a phrase that continues to appear on U.S. currency to this day. On the reverse side of the 1957 1-cent coin, we see a design that many collectors consider one of the most beautiful on any U.S. coin. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a monumental symbol of national pride and unity. The memorial was dedicated in 1922 and stands as a tribute to President Lincoln's life and achievements. The coin's reverse shows a detailed image of the memorial, with the words E Pluribus Unum above and United States of America and 1 cent at the bottom. The design is simple yet powerful, reflecting both the nation's respect for its past and its hopes for the future. When it comes to the minting details, the 1957 penny is part of a long tradition of U.S. coinage. It was produced at several mints across the country, including the Philadelphia Mint, which was the primary location for striking these coins. Unlike many coins produced in different years, the 1957 1-cent coin did not feature a mint mark, which means that these coins are considered Philadelphia coins. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them a distinctive reddish-brown color that has become synonymous with the penny. Over time, the copper content of the penny would be reduced, but the 1957 coin remains an excellent example of the traditional composition of U.S. pennies. While the 1957 1-cent coin was produced in relatively large numbers, its true appeal lies in its condition and rarity. Like most coins, the value of the 1957 penny is largely determined by its condition. Most of the coins in circulation have been worn down by years of handling, making them less desirable for collectors. However, for those lucky enough to find a coin in exceptional condition, the 1957 penny can become a valuable treasure. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and minimal wear, are highly sought after by collectors. In particular, the 1957 1-cent coin is most valuable when it is in uncirculated condition. Coins in this state have never been used in circulation and have been carefully preserved, often stored in protective cases or holders. These coins maintain their original luster and sharpness, making them much more attractive to collectors. Additionally, collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have been well preserved but also have some unique characteristics or errors. For example, some 1957 pennies have slight minting flaws or variations in the design, which can make them even more valuable. for those interested in the specifics, some of the most valuable 1957 pennies are those that have been graded by professional grading services such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations use a standardized grading scale to determine the quality and condition of a coin. Coins that receive a high grade, such as MS 65 or higher, are particularly valuable. If you have a 1957 penny that has been well preserved and graded highly, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of history. Collectors often pay a premium for coins from the 1950s because they are part of a larger historical narrative. The 1957 penny is not only a representation of the American economy in the post-war era, but it also carries the legacy of one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history, Abraham Lincoln. His image on the penny is one of the most enduring symbols of American culture, and coins from his era are always in demand. While the 1957 penny might seem like an ordinary coin, its value can skyrocket depending on its condition. Coins in mint condition, especially those that have been preserved for decades, are worth significantly more than their face value. In fact, if you happen to have a 1957 penny that is in exceptional uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a potential value of $60,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $60,000 for a single 1957 1-cent coin. That's the incredible value these coins can command when they are in pristine, uncirculated condition. So, the next time you come across a 1957 penny, take a moment to inspect it carefully. It could be worth a small fortune, just waiting to be discovered. We hope you enjoyed learning about the fascinating history and incredible value of the 1957 1-cent coin. If you have any questions or if you want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Top 2, we're diving deep into a coin that may just surprise you with its historical significance and potential worth, the 1949 United States 1-cent coin, or as it's commonly known, the 1949 Lincoln penny. Let's take a moment to think about the year 1949. This was a time of great change and uncertainty, but also one of recovery and growth for the United States. World War II had just ended a few years prior, and the country was entering an era of prosperity and peace. The late 1940s marked the beginning of the baby boom, with families expanding and industries growing. The economy was thriving, and people were optimistic about the future. In many ways, the 1949 penny reflects this post-war optimism, standing as a symbol of the economic resilience and the rebuilding of the nation. The design of the 1949 1-cent coin is undoubtedly one of the most iconic and well-recognized in American history. The obverse side features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln has been depicted on the penny since 1909, and his image remains an enduring symbol of leadership, integrity, and unity. The artist who created this remarkable likeness of Lincoln was Victor David Brenner, whose design has become synonymous with the penny itself. Around the edge of the coin, you'll find the inscription, "In God We Trust," a phrase that continues to appear on American currency as a testament to the nation's values. On the reverse side of the 1949 1-cent coin, we see the image of 2 wheat stalks, which have adorned the back of the penny since 1909 as well. This wheat design symbolizes the American agricultural roots and the nation's connection to the land. The presence of the wheat stalks on the reverse side of the penny speaks to a time when agriculture played a crucial role in the nation's economy. The words e pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, are displayed above the wheat stalks, reinforcing the unity of the country, while the phrases United States of America and 1 cent appear below. When it comes to the minting details, the 1949 penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The majority of the 1949 pennies were produced in Philadelphia and are considered the most common of the 3. However, there were also mint marks used on coins from the other 2 mints. The mint mark D was used for coins minted in Denver, and S was used for coins minted in San Francisco. The presence of these mint marks can affect the coin's value, with some mints being rarer than others. The composition of the 1949 penny is made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it its signature reddish-brown color. This composition remained unchanged for many years, and it wasn't until 1982 that the U.S. Mint switched to a predominantly zinc-based formula. The copper content of the 1949 penny contributes to its warm, reddish hue, and over time, the metal can take on a beautiful patina that enhances its appearance. Now, let's dive into what makes the 1949 penny especially valuable to collectors. One of the key factors is the condition of the coin. The 1949 penny was widely circulated, and as a result, most of the coins you'll come across today are in lower grades, showing signs of wear and tear from years of use. Coins that have been in circulation for decades often lose their luster, and the details of the design can become worn down, making them less desirable for serious collectors. However, the 1949 penny has a strong appeal for those in search of coins in pristine or near pristine condition. A coin that has been well preserved or even uncirculated can be a valuable find. Collectors are always searching for pennies that have sharp, clear details, with no significant damage or wear. These coins can command much higher prices than those that have been worn through years of circulation. In addition to the overall condition of the coin, certain varieties and errors can significantly increase the value of the 1949 penny. One of the most sought-after variations is the 1949 V.D.B penny, minted in Denver. While this mint mark is fairly common, some 1949 V.D.B pennies were struck with a different kind of die, resulting in a slight difference in the design. These minor variations are often difficult to spot, but they are highly prized by collectors who specialize in error coins or unique varieties. Another interesting feature to consider is the possibility of finding a 1949 penny with a double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice during the minting process, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled or blurry. A double die error on a 1949 penny can increase its value dramatically, especially if the error is particularly noticeable and well-defined. Coins with such minting errors are considered rarities, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these unique pieces. If you happen to have a 1949 penny in exceptional condition, it may be worth having it graded by a professional coin grading service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These organizations provide an official grade for coins, which helps establish their value in the collector market. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, a 1949 penny that is graded MS 65 or higher is considered to be in nearly perfect condition and can command a much higher price. The collector demand for the 1949 penny has remained strong for many years, and it's easy to see why. This coin is not only a piece of American history, but it also holds sentimental value for many collectors who appreciate its timeless design and the legacy it represents. The 1949 penny is a symbol of a nation rebuilding itself after the devastation of World War II, and it serves as a reminder of the country's enduring strength and resilience. So, what's the big reveal? If you've managed to find a 1949 penny that is in uncirculated condition or has a rare error, you could be sitting on a coin worth an astounding $63,000. Yes, that's right, a single 1949 penny could fetch a remarkable sum in today's market if it's in the right condition or has a unique characteristic. So, the next time you find an old penny lying around, don't dismiss it just yet. It could be worth far more than you think. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1949 Lincoln penny. If you have any of these coins in your collection or come across one in the future, make sure to give it a closer look. It could be your ticket to a small fortune. Top 3, we're diving into one of the most iconic and historically significant pennies in American numismatics, the 1944 United States 1-cent coin. This seemingly humble penny carries a story of wartime sacrifice, economic resilience, and incredible value for collectors. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover just how much this 1944 penny could be worth today. It's more than you'd ever expect. Let's set the stage for 1944. The United States was in the midst of World War II, and the country was undergoing monumental shifts in every aspect of life. At home, families were making sacrifices, rationing goods, and contributing to the war effort in any way they could. The American economy was heavily focused on supporting the troops, with factories shifting from civilian production to manufacturing weapons, supplies, and materials for the war. This was also the year when the famous D-Day invasion occurred, and the Allied forces made significant progress toward defeating Nazi Germany. For the average American, daily life was a mix of routine and wartime restrictions. Gasoline and other commodities were rationed, and metal was in high demand for military production. This is where the story of the 1944 penny comes in. Coin collectors and historians will tell you that this particular year's penny is significant not only because of its design but also due to the materials used to strike it. The design of the 1944 penny is tied to an important chapter in U.S. history. Since 1909, the U.S. Mint had been producing pennies with the image of Abraham Lincoln, one of the nation's most revered presidents. The designer, Victor David Brenner, created an enduring image of Lincoln, whose face continues to grace the penny to this day. The obverse of the 1944 penny features this iconic portrait of President Lincoln, along with the inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." The date, 1944, is prominently displayed near Lincoln's shoulder, reminding us of the year this coin was struck. Now, here's where things get interesting. The reverse of the 1944 penny features a design that has become an enduring symbol of American history: the wheat stalks. The wheat design had been used on U.S. pennies since 1909 and continued until 1958. The two wheat stalks on the reverse symbolize the nation's agricultural roots, connecting the country's economy to its farming heritage. The phrase, "E pluribus unum," sits proudly above the wheat stalks, signifying the unity of the United States, and "United States of America" and "1 cent" are inscribed below. This simple but powerful design reflects the values of the American people during a time of great adversity and perseverance. Now, while the design itself is timeless, what makes the 1944 penny particularly interesting is the material used to mint it. During World War II, the U.S. government faced a critical shortage of copper due to the war effort, so in 1943, the U.S. Mint switched from using copper to steel for the production of pennies. However, by 1944, copper was once again available, and the mint resumed using copper for the pennies production. Interestingly, there are a few special pennies from 1944 that were mistakenly struck using steel planchets that were left over from 1943. These steel pennies, though extremely rare, are among the most valuable coins in American numismatics. So, the 1944 penny is not just a regular copper penny, it's part of a significant transition in U.S. coinage history, marking the return to normalcy after a time of wartime rationing. Let's talk about the minting of the 1944 penny. As with most years, the 1944 penny was struck at multiple U.S. mint locations. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the 1944 pennies, which are the most common ones found today. These coins are typically unmarked, meaning there's no mint mark present. However, the Denver and San Francisco mints also produced their own batches of pennies, which are distinguished by the D and S mint marks, respectively. Although these coins are slightly rarer than those struck in Philadelphia, they are still relatively common compared to other years. One of the key factors that affect the value of the 1944 penny is its condition. Most of the pennies from this era were circulated widely, meaning they were used in everyday transactions and suffered from wear and tear. However, if you happen to find a 1944 penny that has been well preserved and shows minimal signs of wear, it could be worth significantly more than its face value. Coins that are in higher grades, such as those that are uncirculated or in mint condition, are highly sought after by collectors and can command a premium price. The grading system used by numismatic organizations such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, helps collectors determine the condition of their coins. A 1944 penny graded as MS 65 or higher, for example, would be considered in excellent condition, with sharp details and no visible wear. These coins are much rarer than their worn counterparts and can fetch far more on the open market. However, what really makes the 1944 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting are the error coins. As mentioned earlier, some 1944 pennies were struck on steel planchets left over from 1943, creating a very rare and highly valuable variety. These 1944 steel pennies are among the most sought-after coins in the world, with only a handful known to exist. The error occurred due to a mix-up at the mint, and the result is a coin that has a completely different composition than its intended copper counterpart. If you come across a 1944 penny and it seems to have an unusual weight or sound, it could be a steel penny. Steel pennies are much lighter than copper pennies, and they produce a distinctive clink sound when dropped. They are extremely valuable, with some examples selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even a 1944 penny in good condition, with the right mint mark or unique characteristics, could fetch a significant price at auction. For most collectors, though, the 1944 penny in standard copper form remains highly desirable, especially if it's in excellent condition or has been graded by a professional grading service. Coins that are well preserved, free from scratches or other damage, can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand, depending on their grade and mint mark. So, what's the big reveal? If you're lucky enough to have a 1944 penny that is in pristine uncirculated condition, or one that happens to be one of the rare 1944 steel pennies, you could be holding a coin worth a remarkable $66,000. Yes, that's right, $66,000. That's the value these coins can reach in today's market, depending on their condition and rarity. So, before you dismiss that old penny you find in your drawer or pocket, take a moment to inspect it carefully. It could be worth far more than you think. Top 4, we're focusing on a coin that's both relatively modern and quite interesting, the 1975 United States 1-cent coin. Though many people pass by this penny without a second thought, it holds a remarkable story and can sometimes be worth much more than its face value. Stick with us until the end, and you'll be surprised by just how much a 1975 penny could be worth today. Let's travel back to 1975. It was a year of transition for the United States. The country had just come out of the tumultuous 1960s and early 1970s, a time marked by political unrest, social change, and the Vietnam War. By 1975, the U.S. was beginning to rebuild, adjusting to a world that was shifting in many ways. The Vietnam War had ended, and the Watergate scandal had rocked the nation to its core. There was also growing economic concern, as inflation was on the rise, and the U.S. was experiencing a recession. Despite these challenges, the country was still moving forward, and American currency, including the iconic 1-cent coin, remained a staple of daily life. Now, let's zoom in on the design of the 1975 penny. The design has remained relatively unchanged for several decades, especially in the case of the 1-cent coin, which had featured the portrait of Abraham Lincoln since 1909. This famous design by sculptor Victor David Brenner depicts the 16th President of the United States in profile, with the inscription, Liberty, along the top edge and the phrase, In God We Trust, beneath his portrait. The date, 1975, is also clearly displayed beneath Lincoln's image. While the obverse, front, of the coin maintained its historical design, the reverse, back, side of the 1975 penny was part of a significant change that took place in 1974. For the first time in U.S. history, the U.S. Mint began producing pennies with a modified reverse design. The traditional wheat stalks that had graced the reverse of the penny for decades were replaced with a new image, the Lincoln Memorial. This change was made as part of an effort to modernize the coin and commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The design, which continues to be featured on the penny today, showcases a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C. The memorial is a fitting tribute to the president and his enduring legacy, and the design features the grand structure in a symmetrical and majestic manner, with the words, United States of America, and E pluribus unum above, and 1 cent below. However, in 1975, something unique occurred that affected the production of the 1-cent coin. In that year, the U.S. Mint faced a shortage of copper due to rising costs and limited supply. This led to a temporary reduction in the copper content of the penny. While the coin was still primarily made of copper, the U.S. Mint began to add a small amount of zinc to the mix, a shift that would eventually become permanent. This change in composition marked a transition in the way pennies were made, though it wasn't as drastic as the change that occurred in the 1980s when the mint switched entirely to zinc-based pennies. The 1975 penny still has that familiar reddish-brown color, but it is slightly different from earlier pennies due to the inclusion of zinc in the alloy. Another interesting aspect of the 1975 penny is its production and minting details. During this time, the U.S. Mint operated several facilities that struck coins, and the 1975 penny was produced at three main mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. As is typical for coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1975 penny does not feature a mint mark, while those struck at the Denver Mint bear the D mint mark, and those from the San Francisco Mint feature an S mint mark. One of the most notable things about the 1975 penny, however, is the fact that it was minted during a period of significant experimentation in coin production. In the year leading up to 1975, the U.S. Mint was actively working on a new series of coin designs, and the penny was one of the first coins to receive a major redesign. This unique time in U.S. coin history makes the 1975 penny particularly appealing to collectors. Even though it's not as rare as some earlier pennies, the coin's place in history and the changes made to its composition and design give it a special status among numismatists. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1975 penny a collector's item. One of the biggest factors that determine the value of a coin is its condition. Most pennies from 1975, as you might expect, are not in pristine condition. They were heavily circulated, spending years in purses, pockets, and vending machines, and many have suffered from wear and tear. However, some 1975 pennies were kept in excellent condition, either because they were uncirculated or because they were carefully stored by collectors at the time. If you happen to have a 1975 penny that is still in mint condition, free from scratches, stains, or other damage, it could be worth significantly more than the few cents it was originally worth. Coins in higher grades, such as MS 65, Mint State 65, can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, depending on their condition and the demand for them. But the 1975 penny also has its own set of rare variants. As with most coins, there are certain errors or unique characteristics that can increase the value of a coin. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1975 penny is the 1975 double-die penny. This error occurred when the coin was struck multiple times with misaligned dies, resulting in a doubling effect on some of the lettering and the design. These double-die pennies are highly prized by collectors, and they can be worth much more than a standard 1975 penny. If you're lucky enough to have a 1975 double-die penny in your collection, you could be sitting on a small treasure. In addition to error coins, certain mint marks can also affect the value of the 1975 penny. As mentioned earlier, the 1975 penny was minted at three different facilities. The Denver Mint's D mint mark is typically the most common, while the San Francisco Mint's S mint mark is slightly rarer. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced the bulk of the 1975 pennies, did not use a mint mark, making its coins the most frequently encountered. However, this does not mean that a 1975 penny from any particular mint is worth significantly more than the others, unless it has some unique characteristic, such as a minting error or exceptional condition. As you might expect, the value of the 1975 penny increases significantly if it's in uncirculated condition or has a rare error. Coins that are well preserved or have distinct features can be sold at auction for much higher prices than their face value. Some 1975 pennies, depending on the condition and the rarity of their errors, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But here's the big reveal: if you happen to find a 1975 penny in excellent condition, or even better, one that contains a rare error such as the double die, it could be worth an impressive $56,000 in today's market. Yes, that's right, $56,000 for a single 1975 penny if it's in the right condition or has that rare error. So, before you dismiss those old pennies you come across, take a closer look. It could be worth a small fortune. Top 5 and last coin, we have a fascinating story to share about a coin that may look like just another penny to the untrained eye but actually has a rich history and hidden value. I'm talking about the 1973 United States 1-cent coin. This coin, which has been circulating for decades, holds a deeper story than what might first appear on the surface. Stay tuned as we take a closer look at the historical context, the design, the minting process, and how this humble penny could be worth far more than its face value today. Let's begin by stepping into 1973, a year that was pivotal in many ways for the United States. The country was in the midst of the early 1970s, a time marked by significant social and political changes. The Vietnam War was winding down, and the effects of the Watergate scandal were beginning to unfold. The U.S. economy, however, was facing its own challenges. In 1973, the country was experiencing an oil crisis that led to skyrocketing gas prices, and the economy was hit with rising inflation. It was a time of uncertainty for many Americans, but through it all, the penny, or 1-cent coin, continued to play its role as the smallest unit of currency in circulation. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1973 penny. The coin maintained the same general design that had been used for decades, starting from 1909. This design, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln's image has been a part of the penny for over a century and remains one of the most recognizable features of American coinage. The 1973 penny's obverse side, which is the front of the coin, features Lincoln's portrait with the word "Liberty" inscribed to the left. Above Lincoln's head, you will find the phrase, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the country's founding values. The date, 1973, appears beneath Lincoln's portrait, marking the year the coin was minted. As always, Lincoln is depicted in a dignified manner, representing the leadership and unity that the United States held dear during that era. On the reverse side of the 1973 penny, we see the iconic design of the Lincoln Memorial. This reverse design, which has been a part of the penny since 1959, was created by artist Frank Gasparo. The Lincoln Memorial is one of America's most famous monuments and serves as a tribute to Lincoln's legacy. The memorial is shown in great detail, with the words "United States of America" at the top, "E pluribus unum" above the columns, and "1 cent" inscribed at the bottom. The design is both a piece of history and a beautiful representation of the U.S. government's reverence for one of its most important presidents. Though the design of the 1973 penny may seem familiar, there was an important shift happening behind the scenes in the production of this coin. The composition of the penny had undergone a change in previous years due to economic factors. As copper prices increased, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with other metals to keep the cost of minting pennies manageable. By the time the 1973 penny was produced, the coin was primarily made of copper, but there were discussions and future plans to reduce copper content in the following years. Despite this, the 1973 penny still carries the traditional reddish-brown hue that is characteristic of copper coins. One important feature of the 1973 penny is the minting process itself. The U.S. Mint produced these coins in several locations, with major facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, for the 1973 penny, most were minted at the Philadelphia facility. Coins produced at Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, while those made in Denver carry the D mint mark, and those from San Francisco, if produced for collectors, carry the S mint mark. Most of the 1973 pennies in circulation today were produced in Philadelphia and lack a mint mark, but it's important to remember that this was the standard practice for many years. As with any coin, the value of the 1973 penny is largely determined by its rarity, condition, and any unique characteristics it may possess. In general, most 1973 pennies were widely circulated, and many of them are in well-worn condition. The reality is that most of these coins were spent in transactions, carried in pockets, and often subjected to the wear and tear of daily life. If you're hoping to find a 1973 penny worth more than its face value, you'll need to look for one in exceptional condition. Coins in mint state, those that have never been circulated and are in pristine condition, are much more valuable to collectors. A 1973 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, can command a higher price on the market. Typically, these coins can be worth several dollars, depending on their grade and demand. However, the real treasure in the world of coin collecting lies in the rare and unusual varieties, and the 1973 penny is no exception. One particular error that collectors are on the lookout for is the 1973 doubled die penny. This occurs when the coin is struck multiple times by a misaligned die, leading to a doubling effect on the lettering and design. The result is a coin with blurry or distorted text, making it a sought-after find for numismatists. If you happen to come across a 1973 penny with a double die error, you could be in luck. Error coins are highly desirable to collectors because they are one-of-a-kind pieces with unique characteristics. While the typical 1973 penny may only be worth a few cents, a double die penny could be worth far more. Depending on the severity of the error and the coin's overall condition, these error coins can fetch prices that reach into the hundreds of dollars. Another factor that influences the value of the 1973 penny is its rarity in specific mint marks. As mentioned earlier, the majority of 1973 pennies were produced in Philadelphia, and these coins are the most common. However, certain 1973 pennies that were minted in San Francisco, typically reserved for proof sets, may be rarer and worth more to collectors. Still, it's the uncirculated 1973 penny in excellent condition, especially if it happens to have a rare error or variant, that can really make a coin collector's heart race with excitement. So, if you're going through your collection of pennies or searching through old change, take a closer look at any 1973 pennies you find. With some luck, you could discover a coin that's worth far more than just 1 cent. The value of the 1973 penny in uncirculated condition or with rare errors can be significant, but here's the surprising part: a 1973 penny in top-tier condition, or one with a rare variety, could be worth as much as $53,000 today. Yes, you read that right. A single penny, minted decades ago, could have a value that far exceeds what anyone would have imagined when it was first produced. So, before you dismiss any old pennies you come across, remember that even the most seemingly insignificant coins can sometimes be worth a fortune. Keep your eyes peeled, and you may just find yourself with a valuable piece of U.S. history in your hands. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed learning about the fascinating history and value of the 1973 U.S. 1-cent coin. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest discoveries. Who knows what treasure you might uncover next? Happy collecting!